We had a great day here at the table yesterday. I trust you were able to find your way to a church service this weekend where you're able to get a lot of Jesus for you. We're following along here in our conversations at the table through Advent. We're following along with 1517's Coming Home for Christmas, and that is this devotional right here. Great devotional. I encourage you, if you haven't already, go to 1517 and get the devotional. 26 devotionals, all for Advent, every day of the week. It's not too late. We've been printing this off week by week here at the table. If you'd like a copy of what we're doing, stop by here at the table on Crockett Street, and we'll give you one. There's also, by the way, there's an electronic link. If you'd like to download the PDF, contact me, and I will make sure you get a free copy. But this is just a great devotional, and so that's what we've been doing for our Advent series here at the Conversation at the Table. In fact, our Bible talk yesterday was kind of where the devotional was for this morning. This morning, today's devotional is in Isaiah 52. It's discussing an aspect of Advent that we don't really think about at Advent time. Sometimes we're not very comfortable talking about Advent this way. It kind of just runs against the grain of everything that we think to be true about Christmas for the most part. Again, warm fuzzies, beautiful music, lots of lights. This is looking at it from a little differently. Isaiah 52, and what we looked at yesterday, I encourage you to go to the video and see how we were talking about Advent from Isaiah 9 yesterday here at the table. Our Bible talk yesterday talked about the manger being an act of war. Isaiah 52 is doing the same thing. So whether it's the Christmas cards, it's the music, it's the Hallmark movies, Isaiah's wanting us to see something a little different. He's pointing his camera a little differently for us here during Advent. Isaiah 52, 7 through 10 was the passage that 1517 is highlighting today. We're just going to look at two different verses. The first one is verse 7. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of the herald who proclaims peace, who brings good news, who proclaims salvation, who says to Zion, your God reigns. Then a couple of verses later, break forth into singing, you ruins of Jerusalem. The Lord has comforted his people. He has redeemed Jerusalem. So the two words that we're looking at today, one is that word good news or bringing good news in verse 7, and the other is comfort in verse 9, both of which, thinking a little differently, because of the way Isaiah is actually using them here, it kind of gets masked. It's kind of faded in our English translations. But the first word, bringing good news, is the Hebrew for that is basar. It is a military term. Good news from the battlefield. So this bringing news of good things in verse 7, it's not a churchy word, it's a military word. And these days our phones, they have notifications and they bring us news. Yesterday, I get a notification on my phone. Hey, the Bengals lost to the Bills. Would you like to watch a recap? No, leave me alone. The Bengals lost. That's bad news. Well, in the ancient world, they didn't have notifications on their phones. They had runners. And runners would run back to the cities from the battlefield with the news. And they'd bring the updates, sometimes on a daily basis, from the battlefield, talking about what's going on. And you could tell by the way the runner was running as to whether or not he had good news or not. The runner, if it's slow, if he's kind of walking, he's not excited to get into the city, well, okay, it's probably bad news from the battlefield. If he's running really, really fast and looks kind of excited, well, that's probably he's bringing good news. And the people want to know, have we won? Was the enemy defeated? Or are we going to be slaves to the enemy because we lost? But that's the news that the runner is bringing, Basar, news from the battlefield, news from the battlefront. And so Basar is not, here are a bunch of ways to improve your life. Basar is not, here's some spiritual advice. It's not Dr. Phil helping us with our lives. It's a public announcement that the war has been fought. And in this instance, bringing good news, the war's been won. Our king won. Our king did it. Victory belongs to the king and to us. And Isaiah is saying that the announcer is saying three things. The war's over. We're rescued, salvation. And then the last thing, which is a big thing, and which is 15:17 is highlighting this today, your God reigns. It's all good. That's gospel. That's gospel in Old Testament clothes. If we listen closely to the CSB, which we use here at the table, the Christian Standard Bible, it's kind of cool the way it has Isaiah 7 or verse 7 phrased, Isaiah 52:7. It's who proclaims, who brings, who proclaims, who says. Who. And Isaiah's not just filling space. He wants us to focus. His camera's on this runner, this herald, the one who's bringing the good news. Actually, the one who is the good news, because that all gets conflated. You see, the runner, the one who's bringing good news in this instance, is also the one who is the good news. That's the comfort here. And that's the comfort during Advent. In verse 9, Isaiah says, the Lord has comforted his people. He has redeemed Jerusalem. Again, this kind of comfort, context. The comfort's not a warm blankie. It's not hot chocolate. It's not soothing music. It is a person. It's military relief. The comfort here is being rescued, being redeemed, being saved from the enemy. The enemy is no longer a threat. That's the kind of comfort. The enemy has been defeated. This is the kind of comfort that comes from us being rescued from sin, evil, death, and the devil. All the things that are bound up with our salvation. The good news that comes with our forgiveness and grace that comes from Jesus. You see, heaven is not sending just another memo. It's not sending thoughts and prayers. It sends good news at Christmas. You see, what we talked about yesterday, the manger is an act of war. The incarnation, God becomes a human with real flesh, real bones. That's comfort. And he's not dealing with our sin in a fuzzy way. He's not just simply waving a magic wand to make it all go away. The very act of becoming human is suffering for God himself. But then he goes to the cross. This warrior king of Isaiah 52 comes as a baby in a manger. He comes to fight the battle, a battle that we cannot win, a battle that we won't win against sin, death, and the devil. That's comfort. That's comfort. One of the intriguing things I've always found to be intriguing about Martin Luther is he loved this word comfort. Now it's obvious that that's an English translation of the word he's using in German, Trost, I think. But it's not a mood. Comfort comes from reality. What God has done in Jesus. And Luther always said, comfort isn't coming from what's inside. Comfort's always coming from what's outside of us. Comfort is not that we're not that bad. Comfort is, no, you are that bad. It really was that bad. You really are in that condition. But by the way, Jesus has done it for you. Jesus went to war and he won. For you. For you. You know, this passage shows up in one of Paul's letters about this very same thing. He's using it in context, actually. It's actually one of his most famous passages, Romans 10. And he's writing to a congregation or a group of congregations. He's talking about how people like you and me actually come to trust Jesus, the warrior king. And he quotes the verse. He says, as it's written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. And he's understanding all of this to be in the context of this is who Jesus is for you. The runner. And he's saying that's happening right now in the preaching of Jesus. In the preaching of Jesus, the preaching of the word, the teaching of the word. Somebody is sent, somebody's proclaiming. It's all good news. And by hearing then, in verse 17 there of Romans 10:17, it's we believe. It says, faith comes from what's heard. What's heard comes through the word of Christ. So the good news isn't coming from inside of us. The good news is coming from the word, comes into our ears, and goes into the heart. Luther called that extra nose. It's Latin, outside of us. So Paul is quoting Isaiah. He's quoting this great passage in Isaiah 52. And he's saying, you know what? There's been a battle. Jesus has won. Jesus is giving you good news. He's the runner. And he runs with his word. He runs for you. That's comfort. That's comfort. So, no matter what you're going through today, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feels like a war. It is a war. in the in-between, the already and not yet, it still feels like war. Yes, the war's been completed. The war's been won. But the enemy's not happy. And so we deal with sin every day. The accuser's constantly accusing us. Hey, did you see how you blew it again today? Did you see? Jesus is disappointed in you, he's going to say. No, the good news is Jesus has won the battle for you. And you are forgiven. You are his. That's his grace. That's his mercy. That's his love for you. That's comfort. That is so much comfort. That's today's conversation at the table. This Wednesday, we're busy preparing here at the table. We got Blue Christmas coming. Blue Christmas is a service that is just 1 hour, and it's designed for those who are hurting, for those who are feeling grief, for those who are feeling fracture, for those who are feeling loss. If Christmas is not a fun time or happy time for you, then show up 6 o'clock this Wednesday evening, 2 days from now, December the 10th. Show up at 6 o'clock. We'll have a service designed to help, to provide you comfort in the midst of your grief, in the midst of your hurt, in the midst of your loneliness. Jesus is for you, and he will be for you in a very real way Wednesday evening at 6. So I encourage you to be here for that. And remember, Isaiah's words, Jesus reigns. He is for you. That is Jesus, the warrior king, for you. And he always has comfort for you in his word, in his love, in his grace, in his forgiveness for you. So, until next time, wherever you're at, just remember this. You are absolutely, unconditionally loved by Jesus. Jesus always, always has you. Have a great rest of your